channel, guys. It's me, it's Knockout21. How are y'all doing today? My next review is gonna take a while, and I'm reviewing an RPG, and those are really time consuming. There's a lot of grinding, a lot of fetch questing, all this stuff. So it's taking a lot of time, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging with no video or whatever. So I decided to make this video right here showing the various video qualities and things on my Sega Dreamcast. Of course, I've done a lot of videos on the Toro and the Akura, but joining that compilation would be this right here. That's right, I modded my Dreamcast with the DCHDMI chip. And I gotta say, it's the best video quality out there for your Dreamcast. I'm gonna talk the pluses about having this thing, and should it be, the right fit for you if you're a hardcore Dreamcast player. This is the same Dreamcast I bought like way back when, like when it first came out, and this very same one whose GD-ROM broke, and that's why I replaced it with a USB GD-ROM drive. And yeah, all the footage you're gonna be looking at will be coming from this Dreamcast, and we're just gonna go ahead and talk about it and stuff. Anyway, onward to the video. Going into this, I was afraid that the DCHDMI wouldn't be able to pull off 240p games. I got a couple of 240p games in my collection. As you can see here, I got King of Fighters 99 Dream Match, 99 Evolution, as well as the 240p options on Third Strike and Alpha 3. And I gotta say, it does a pretty good job. The colors are vibrant, and I would even say that it even edges out the Toro. Now, that's not to say the Toro is bad, but as you can clearly see, the colors are a little bit more bright on the DCHDMI side. The only downside that I would say that it has in regards to 240p is that this thing has to output at 480p in order to show 240p images. So that's a bit of a downside. I tried multiple times through the 1080p output just to get a much sharper picture here, but none of my equipment was reading it. None of my TVs were reading it. Maybe in a future update they could fix it, but for right now, the only way you could play 240p games on the DCHDMI is basically downscaling it to 480p. Now, that's not bad overall. You can see the picture's still pretty clean. And in my opinion, it's just a minor nuisance. I wish they would have done a little bit better job. But my guess is if there must be some sort of incompatibilities between 1080p and 240p or something. Okay, to be fair in this segment, I made the DCHDMI output at 480p, the same as the Akura, just to kind of compare more closely. And right off the bat, I could already tell you that the DCHDMI offers a much fuller picture. If you guys remember the old Akura video I made, I always told you that the frame seemed kind of off or whatever. Well, yeah, as you could tell on the Akura side, things are a little bit more square or a little bit more squished in. I'm guessing because it was still trying to stick to that VGA style of putting out images. But over on a DCHDMI, the image is a lot fuller. Right? There's a lot more color, and they're also more vibrant. And I gotta say, I'm surprised it beats it up by this much. The image also looks a tad bit sharper in 480p mode. I'm not sure if you guys could tell. I try to make the image as big as possible so you guys can see. But regardless, I gotta say I am impressed to how well the DCHDMI is able to do things. Just look at that face. The Akura looks like the faces were like squished in and whatnot. And the DCHDMI, it looks a little bit fuller. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys enjoy the rest of this intro. Okay, it might be a little unfair in this aspect, but I set my DCHDMI to 1080p for this little segment here, and of course the Akura is still stuck at 480p, and the only thing I see it that it beats it in is like how much of the screen it fills. With that said, the DCHDMI basically beats it out of the water in every other aspect. The colors are brighter, the pixels are sharper, and there's less cables involved or whatever. Back in the day, before I got this mod, the only way I could get like any footage off my Dreamcast was basically connecting it to a Toro with either an RGB or a VGA cable. Then I got to connect it to my OSSC, then my OSSC to either my Elgato or my AverMedia, and it was just a long laundry list of things that I had to go through in order to get any footage off my Dreamcast. And I thought the Akura for sure was going to help me out in that aspect, but when I got it, it was just a tiny bit better than the Toro in terms of convenience, but none of my capture equipment was reading it. However, on the DCHDMI, I could plug it into anything. I could plug it into my Elgato, I could plug it into my AverMedia right off the bat, and it just reads it. Now, I'm guessing with all the compression and whatnot, you can't really see the full detail. But as you can see, the picture, although it's a little bit smaller, the pixels are sharper nonetheless. Probably already repeating myself. Either way, let's go ahead to my final thoughts. And there you have it, guys, the DCHDMI mod. And I went ahead and compared it against the Akura and the Toro. Is it worth it? In a way, yes. For me personally, I wanted this mod so I could have an easier time getting the best picture quality out of my Dreamcast. You see, back in the day, or before I got this, I had to connect my Toro to the OSSC, to a capture card, and then stream it via that way. And in the end, it was just too cumbersome. I don't got a lot of space down here, and I also wanted a better picture quality, and the DCHDMI does that. The Akura, I was hopeful would do that, but it did not. It was still broadcasting in something called a VESA standard or something, which was a signal that none of my capture equipment was able to read except for my AverMedia HD2. That was the only thing I was able to read it, and it was only able to record. There was no way of streaming or anything like that from this thing. So yeah, I was out of luck with the Akura. But with the DCHDMI, all I need is one cable connected to my Elgato, and that was it. I could record, I could stream, I don't have to worry about a thing. There's no lag or anything like that. I was playing Street Fighter and King of Fighters just fine. It could handle 240p games as long as you output in 480p. But yeah, all that stuff, it worked perfectly. However, nowadays this chip fetches for $130 now. I got mine from Black Dog Tech, and yeah, that's how much they go for now. And you're gonna have to understand that this is not an easy install. Most likely you're gonna probably need someone to install this for you, like a professional soldering guy or an engineer or something, because this is high level technical stuff. You're probably gonna need to send it out somewhere if you don't know someone already. So just be prepared for that if you plan to get this mod for yourself. Anyway, this was Knockout 21. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And like always, have a good one. Take care, you guys.